Okay, today we're going to do the second part to a demo I did a little over a week ago, talking about setting up a lab to work with AI models using PyTorch. And I promised I was going to show you some, how to use some open source Hugging Face pre-learned models to work in that lab. The website here is where my YouTube video is showing that lab. So if you haven't seen that, please view that. And the pre-trained models, let's take a look at what we're going to be working with. These pre-trained models are on this website called Hugging Face. Ton of models on here. There's things for security, image to text. These are models that you don't have to spend weeks, days training yourself. They're pre-trained. You can tweak them and modify them. And the purpose of those today is just to show you how to interface with these libraries, get a lab set up so you can work with them and get hands-on experience. So moving forward, the environment, the WSL environment, we're going to be again adding the PyTorch libraries that we talked about last week briefly. Some of these modules that we're going to add, some are just to be able to do things like graphing and working with images. But the big one that we haven't worked with yet is the transformers module, which allows you to work with those pre-trained models on that Hugging Face website. Now, the steps we're going to do, we're just going to, again, I'm going to use the lab environment that we set up last week. I'm going to just verify my NVIDIA still sees the 4070 Ti card. I'm going to update my system, install Git so that I can grab the programs that I have at my GitHub site. I'm going to create my virtual environment, activate it, install the additional libraries, transformers, and some other libraries that I'm going to need for my programs as well. Then I'm going to run the programs, do a little bit of explaining it. But again, this is just to get fast set up just so you can actually see these models work in action. I do have a diagram if you're wondering what happens when you actually modify or tweak a trained app. This is what's happening when we grab the transformers, we import from transformers, we download the model, and we save it locally on your system. And these are some of the, just to give you an idea how long it would take to actually create and train these models yourself. You can see from days, some are hours. So nice to have these just already there for us to use. So now let's go look and take a look at my environment that I set up last week. If I run NVIDIA -SMI, we can see that I do have the CUDA driver still working and functioning, and I'm working with a 4070 Ti card. Now, first thing I'm going to do is update my system. Now, I've already updated it, so there's going to be nothing to do here, but if you're following along, I will run the commands and you can see nothing to do. So now I will install sudo pnf install git. Now again, that's already installed, but if you're following along, you will need this to be able to clone my GitHub repository. Now, you will be doing a git clone, HTTPS. Now, I actually have done this in prep for this lab, so I'm just going to do you can see I've ran this quite a few times. This is going to be the command we run. So this is the command I showed you in the PowerPoint. We're going to clone my GitHub repository with the programs, the Python programs we'll need to run. And when we do that, you will now see that I have a subdirectory for my labs. I'm going to now cd into that. Now we have our Python programs, but now we need to create our virtual environment and install the libraries. So let's do that. Again, remember 3.11. If you're wondering why 3.11 from last week, we covered that. Red Hat Enterprise 9, which is what ALMA Linux 9 is based from. It has 3.9 installed by default, which will not work with the PyTorch libraries. There is a newer version of Python, but as of right now, it does not work with the PyTorch libraries either. So we're using Python 3.11 in this case. So I am going to create my virtual environment. I'm just going to call it venv, call it what you want. And you'll see that directory for the virtual environment is there. I am now going to activate it. And as you can see right here, I am inside my virtual environment. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to install the libraries that I need. And I have done this once before, so I am just going to grab the command from my history. So these are the libraries I'm going to have to install in my virtual environment. Torch, Vision Audio, Transformers, which is the interface needed to work with the Hugging Face models off the website. And then some of these are just for, as we said, for plotting, working with HTTP requests. But the big ones designed to work with AI are going to be Torch and Transformers. So I'm just going to copy that. So now I am going to go ahead and install those. Now it's going to take a while because these are not installed in my virtual environment right now. So I am going to pause the video while these install because it's going to take a while to get all these installed. So I will pause and come back when they're done. Okay, I have the libraries installed. So now let's just take a look here. And there are my files. And so let's take a look at, I'm not going to run all these. I'm not going to go line by line and explain all the code. I will briefly explain. I just want you to have some software that you can, some Python code that you can actually run and just get an idea of what you can do with these models and just kind of get started. But for right now, I'm going to run Python 3.11. I'm going to run this program called Sentiment, and let's just see what it does off the top of the head here. Now you can see it went through and it gave you a positive score and a negative score. So what is that doing? Well, let's take a look. I should have probably opened the code first, but this is what it's doing. It is importing from Transformers, the pipeline library and Torch, and it is checking to see if I have an NVIDIA card. If not, it's going to use the CPU, which is fine. You don't need to work with NVIDIA, especially for something like this. This is very simple. And I've got a couple lines. It's going to go and say, well, I love this product. It's amazing. Is that positive or negative? The AI is then going to look at the second line, give you a score. And as you can see from the result, the first line was positive, the second one was negative. So very basic. If you wanted to scale this up and look at large amounts of text, maybe you want to look at customer websites, emails, what have you, you could do that and get much more creative with the programming. Now let's take a look at another one. I'm going to look at image classification. This program is going to go grab a picture off of a website, and let's just take a look at the picture. This is the picture. So what type of dog it is it? It's going to use a pre-trained model to figure out what is that. So let's do that. So now we're going to get some warnings because I have some, there are some deprecated code, but it is going to work. It predicted, it's a pug. And I mean, I'm not a dog expert, but I think that is a pug. So the model predicted it right. If you want to take a look at a little bit of the code, you can see right here, it's, you know, grabbing this image and it's using a torch model to go and classify the image. So again, this is just very basics. What you can do with a pre-trained model is going and grabbing that model off the website and using it to classify without you having to use ChatGPT or anything. This is all running locally. Now, one of the questions, I'm not going to run through all these, but would be, what if you wanted to do something more advanced like customize a model or tweak it? Well, I mean, I'm not going to go through the details on what this is doing. I just want to show you what you could do. I have something called a trained spam detector, and I'm going to open that up. It's got a lot of code in it, but I just want to go through briefly what this is going to do. Is we're going to simulate about 1,000 fake emails, and it's going to just use random numbers between 0 and 1. We're going to have some classifications here. What I'm going to be doing is, let's see here. It's going to have some basic parameters. Oh, up here on right here, featured names. It's going to assign random numbers of these, you know, sender blacklisted, all caps words, whatever. It's going to assign numbers of those. Again, this is just fake. This is just simulating an email system. It's not really looking at real emails. It's just to show you, the base purpose of this program is to show you, you know, that you could look at data, learn from the data. It's going to generate some fake emails, learn from it, and it's going to come down here and go through the training and loop through the emails several times. And then after that, the main focus I want to show you is that it's going to learn, it's going to tweak the model, and it's going to save the changes, the tweak spam, what I call a spam classifier, to a file. And then I'm going to use another program to access that file and use what we trained in order to be a spam detector. So right here, I am going to run now. If you only understand one thing from this, is that you are taking a current model, you are tweaking it and doing some training yourself based on data that I made up in this case, but it could be real data. And if you look, it created a file. This is the tweaked data, right? It's going to be used to enhance the current model. Now, if I open up the predict spam, this is actually going to load the models, the training that I did to help enhance the model, and it's going to use that to classify spam based on that model. So let's just run that. And here you go, you got email 1, spam, email 2, not spam, and it uses these numbers, this fake data that I created as part of the classification. Again, the main concept I want to show here is that you can take pre-learned models, enhance them, tweak them with some training, and then you can save the tweaks to a file and use that. So that's just the main concept I want to get there. There's a lot more to that than that, but I just wanted to show you how to run some pre-trained models and just show you that you can tweak the models and retrain them a little bit without going through too much hassle. So thanks for watching, and any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you.